There comes a moment in a person's life when the heavens open and what was once written in lack begins to be rewritten in abundance. There comes a divine hour when the same God who watched you struggle begins to turn the pages of your story. I declare to you now, this is that moment. God is rewriting your financial records. The same hands that shaped the universe are now moving through the unseen realms, altering the script of your destiny. The same voice that called light out of darkness is calling provision out of scarcity for you. What was once a record of debts, loss, and limitation is being transformed into a record of wealth, growth, and overflowing supply. You may not see it yet in your bank account, but heaven has already signed it. God has already approved it. The shift has already begun in the unseen. Many of you have walked through seasons where every effort seemed to crumble, where the harder you worked, the smaller the result appeared. You cried, you prayed, you sowed, and yet the harvest seemed delayed. But hear me today, delay is not denial. The silence of God is not His absence. When God is quiet, He is not ignoring you. He is writing. He is editing the script of your story so that when He reveals it, it will make sense. Why certain doors closed? Why certain people walked away? Why certain opportunities fell apart? God is not just watching your life. He is rewriting it. And when God rewrites, He does not use ink that fades. He writes with the eternal signature of His will. You see, your financial record is not just about money. It is about destiny. It is about what God intends to manifest through you. Some of you were born into poverty, not because that was God's design, but because He wanted to show what His power can do in transforming ashes into gold. You have carried the burden of bills, loans, and limitations. But God says today, I am changing the story. Your name that once represented a struggle will soon represent supernatural supply. You are about to move from begging to building, from surviving to thriving, from asking to owning. The hand that have been stretched out for help will now become the hand that give help. You will be the lender, not the borrower. You will be the one others come to for counsel, for opportunity, for hope. God is not just giving you money. He is giving you authority over the realm of provision. He is teaching you that wealth is not just a physical currency, it is spiritual alignment. When your spirit aligns with the will of God, everything around you must shift to match that alignment. That is why the world cannot understand why, after being broken, you still rise. They cannot understand how, after being rejected, you still glow with the faith. It is because you are walking with the one who holds the pen of destiny. You are walking with the one who writes the stories no man can erase. There is a divine rewriting happening right now. In the invisible, God is erasing the stains of financial shame that marked your past. The debt that kept you awake at night are being canceled in ways you will not understand. The lack that limited your dreams is being broken. You will soon see the manifestation of divine provision that flows without limit. When God rewrites your record, He also rewrites your understanding. He teaches you that money is not the goal, it is the byproduct of obedience. It is the result of divine alignment. When you obey the voice of God in the small things, He releases abundance in the big things. Many people chase money, but the wise chase God. Because when you chase God, money will chase you. There is power in believing that God can rewrite. Your faith is the pen in God's hand. Your trust is the ink. When you speak with faith, you give God permission to manifest what He has already written in heaven. You see, many have a faith for salvation, but few have a faith for transformation. God is not limited by your salary, by your background, or by your education. He is not bound by what your economy says or what your society predicts. When God decides to elevate you, He will use what others overlook. He will promote you from the very places people rejected you. He will open streams of income that you didn't even know existed. He will turn your ideas into influence and your vision into value. Do not be afraid of small beginnings, for God often hides His greatest treasures in humble places. When you have little, God observes how you handle it. When you are faithful with a little, He rewrites your record to entrust you with much. Some of you are about to step into much. You are about to enter into a season where your previous financial limits will no longer exist. God is transferring wealth, not to make you boastful, but to make you a blessing. You will build what others thought impossible. You will feed those who once pitied you. You will employ those who once doubted you. Your wealth will be a testimony of divine authorship. The problem with many people is that they only see what's written on paper. They look at the bank statement and think that's the final word. But hear me, God's word is higher than any statement. The report of heaven overrides the report of man. You may have a record of a debt, but God has a record of a destiny. You may have a record of a lack, but God has a record of a provision. When God steps into your situation, He does not consult your past to decide your future. He simply declares what He has already purposed for you. He says, you are blessed, you are favored, you are prosperous. And the moment you believe that, the rewriting begins. You must stop identifying yourself by your financial struggles. Stop calling yourself broke. Stop saying you can't afford it. Stop speaking like a victim. Every word you speak is a seed in the soil of your destiny. When you say, I can, you lack heaven's resources. But when you say, God is providing, you open the gate of divine abundance. God works with the words you release in faith. Speak abundance, even when you see lack. Speak growth, even when everything around you feels stagnant. Speak prosperity, even when the numbers say otherwise. Your words invite the rewriting hand of God. There are people watching this right now who feel forgotten. You've done everything right. You've worked, prayed, tithed, given, and yet nothing seems to move. But God says, do not measure my power by your timing. Sometimes God delays because He is perfecting. Sometimes He withholds because He is preparing. When God rewrites, He does not rush. He rewrites in alignment with eternity. And when the page turns, it will turn swiftly. The same God who can turn night into day can turn your story in one moment. One phone call, one opportunity, one idea, one divine connection, and everything can change. There is a spiritual economy that is greater than any financial system on earth. When you connect with God's economy, you become recession-proof. You become inflation-proof because your source is not man, it is God. The world may shake, but those rooted in God will always rise. You will not depend on the limited flow of man's provision, but on the limitless overflow of divine supply. There are ideas sleeping inside you that heaven wants to awaken. There are inventions, books, businesses, and investments waiting for your obedience. When God rewrites your financial record, He also rewrites your mindset. He delivers you from the mentality of lack. He removes the fear of running out and replaces it with the confidence of running over. You are not a beggar in the kingdom of God. You are a steward of divine resources. You are not called to live beneath circumstances. You are called to dominate them. God did not design you to chase blessings. He designed you to create them. When God rewrites your record, He gives you wisdom that multiplies what you have. He gives you the discipline to sustain wealth, the vision to expand it, and the generosity to share it. Because true prosperity is not how much you keep, but how much you release. The river that keeps flowing never runs dry. Many people block their rewriting because they compare their lives to others. Stop measuring your season by someone else's timeline. God writes uniquely. What takes another 10 years can take you 10 days when God's hand is upon you. Your story is sacred. Your path is divine. Your breakthrough is personal. The same God who raised one from the dust can raise you from death. The same God who multiplied the seed can multiply your resources. He can turn one stream into 7. He can open doors where walls existed. He can create a way through what looked impossible. And when He does, you will know it was not luck, it was rewriting. God is removing every label of poor, incapable, and average from your record. He is clothing you with the garments of divine favor. You will walk into places that your qualifications could not access. You will receive approvals that others thought impossible. You will see money come to you through channels that make no earthly sense. God will use even your enemies to fund your assignment. The wealth of the wicked is being transferred into righteous hands, and those hands may be yours. Do not underestimate what God can do through obedience. When He tells you to give, give. When He tells you to wait, wait. When He tells you to act, act. Every instruction carries provision. Every step of faith rewrites a line of your destiny. God cannot bless rebellion, but He will always honor obedience. And the moment your obedience aligns with His will, heaven's supply begins to flow without limit. You will look back one day and say, if I had known what God was preparing, I would have never doubted. You are entering a season of supernatural replacement. Everything you lost financially, every investment that failed, every deal that collapsed, every opportunity that slipped, God is about to restore it in multiplied form. You will not recover the same way. You will recover greater. The years of pain will turn into years of plenty. The same table where you wept will become the table of feasting. The same place where you were embarrassed will become the place where you are elevated. When God rewrites, He compensates. He does not just restore what was lost. He adds interest. Lift your eyes from the problem and fix them on the provider. Stop crying over what left and start rejoicing over what's coming. Your faith must move before your finances move. Speak abundance, live expectancy, walk like one who knows God is working behind the scenes. You are not waiting for money. Money is waiting for you to believe. You are not waiting for opportunity. Opportunity is waiting for your obedience. God is already positioning people, aligning circumstances, and rearranging timelines just to fulfill what He has written about you. The rewriting is not random, it is intentional. God is rewriting your financial records because He wants your life to be a testimony. People will look at you and say, how did this happen? And you will say, God did it. Your wealth will become worship. Your success will become a sermon. Your prosperity will speak louder than any words. Because when God blesses you, He blesses you to display His glory. He blesses you so that others may see His power through your story. Now hear me clearly. God is not only rewriting your financial records, He is rewriting the very way you think about provision. For too long, many of you have looked at money as a commodity, as a struggle, as something that is earned by sweat and worry. But God wants you to understand that provision is a reflection of His presence in your life. Your abundance is not dependent on the economy, on human favor, or on chance. Your abundance flows because God has determined it. Every limitation you have experienced is being undone, not by your efforts alone, but by the divine intervention of the Almighty. What man cannot change, God can. What the world cannot provide, God can supply. The shift you have been waiting for is spiritual first and financial second. The moment your spirit aligns with God's plan, your bank account will obey the invisible laws of heaven. Listen carefully, because this is a principle that most people miss. God does not rewrite your financial records merely to make you comfortable. He rewrites them to make you courageous. He is creating a confidence in you that no situation, no setback, no debt, no crisis can shake. You will walk into rooms, into negotiations, into opportunities, and you will know that the unseen hand of God is behind you. You will not rely on flattery, on manipulation, or on persuasion, because you will have the authority of divine backing. People will feel it in your presence. They will recognize that the source of your success is not ordinary, it is extraordinary. This is the power of a record rewritten by God. And do not underestimate the subtle ways God works. Sometimes the rewriting begins quietly. A small increase here, a sudden idea there, a chance meeting that seems insignificant, but these are the strokes of the pen of heaven. They are God's whispers, His markers, His divine blueprint being laid out. If you dismiss them as coincidence, you delay your breakthrough. If you embrace them with the faith, you accelerate it. God is meticulous. He does not act hastily. Every detail is calculated. Every opportunity designed to bring you from lack to overflow. Your awareness must rise to recognize His movement, for often the rewriting occurs where you least expect it. Your financial record is not just being rewritten in material terms, it is being rewritten in spiritual terms. God is aligning your character, your discipline, your vision, and your generosity with the provision that is coming. For wealth that is not rooted in wisdom is a seed that will wither. God wants your record rewritten so that you are not only blessed, but also prepared to steward that blessing. You will not just receive, you will manage it, multiply, and release. The riches that are being prepared for you will not enslave you. They will empower you. They will not make you proud. They will make you grateful. They will not be temporary. They will be eternal in their impact. Some of you have been looking for shortcuts, for quick fixes, for secret formulas to wealth. Listen carefully. There is only one secret: alignment with God. When your thoughts, your plans, your actions, and your faith line up with His will, provision flows. And when provision flows, it is unstoppable. You may have seen others stumble with wealth because they attempted to acquire it apart from divine guidance. But your wealth, your record, your destiny, these are written by God's hand. No human error, no market collapse, no opposition can erase what what God has decreed. You are entering a season where every effort, every seed sown, every skill you apply will be multiplied by unseen forces that work in your favor. There are moments in life when your financial reality feels fixed, unchangeable. The debts feel permanent. The opportunity is limited. The struggle unending. But God is the author of new beginnings. He is not limited by what is. He is only limited by your faith. The same God who can command the universe into order can command abundance into your life. You will witness miracles in the marketplace, in your investments, in your career, your businesses, your skills, your talents. All of them will become instruments of provision beyond human calculation. You will see returns that defy logic because God is rewriting the record with a signature that is supernatural. Do not fear those who mock your vision. Do not be discouraged by those who doubt your potential. Every time someone questions your ability, God writes a line in your favor. Every time the world says impossible, God says already done. This is the paradox of divine rewriting. The more the world resists, the more God moves. When you keep your faith alive, when you continue to act in obedience, God turns opposition into opportunity. What others call failure, God calls preparation. What others call disappointment, God calls strategy. Every setback is being rewritten into a setup for your blessing. Every closed door is being rewritten into an open highway for your provision. You must understand the power of speaking what God has already written. Your words are not empty. They are instruments of faith. When you declare God is rewriting my financial record, you are aligning yourself with the decree of heaven. When you speak faith in the face of scarcity, you invite God to move faster. Do not shrink in your declarations. Do not whisper timid prayers. Boldly speak life over your finances. Boldly claim the abundance that God has already written. Boldly act with confidence, even if the balance shows otherwise. The unseen realm will catch up with the spoken word, and your financial reality will transform. God is also rewriting your network, your connection, your allies. He is positioning people around you who will accelerate your growth. He is opening doors to partnership, to mentorship, to opportunities that are divinely timed. Pay attention to the people He places in your path. Not every meeting is coincidental. Not every conversation is trivial. God is orchestrating alignment, creating a web of support and opportunity that will converge to manifest your rewritten record. Your environment will change because God is changing it, and your interactions will become catalyst for breakthrough. And as the rewriting continues, you will notice a shift in your mindset. Scarcity thinking will give way to abundance thinking. Fear will be replaced with faith. Anxiety will be replaced with assurance. You will begin to see money not as a source of worry, but as a tool of empowerment. You will begin to recognize opportunities that once passed unnoticed. Your vision will expand, your goals will rise, and your courage will grow. The rewriting of your financial record is not just external, it is internal. God transforms not only what you have, but also who you are becoming. There are moments when you may feel overwhelmed by the enormity of what God is doing. You may feel unworthy, unprepared, or incapable. But that is exactly when God's rewriting shines brightest. He does not require perfection. He requires faith. He does not demand experience. He demands obedience. The hand that writes destiny is patient and it is persistent. Every prayer you prayed in secrecy, every sacrifice you made in hope, every act of faith that seemed unnoticed, God is taking all of it, weaving it into a record of provision that will astonish the world. When you finally see it manifest, you will realize it was not your effort, but God's power that created the abundance. You will also learn the joy of giving in this season. God rewrites your record, not just to increase your wealth, but to expand your influence. The moment you understand that your increase is not just for yourself, but for others, you unlock a higher level of blessing. The more you bless, the more you receive, the more you sow into righteous hand, the more God multiplies your harvest. Your abundance will become a river that touches lives, heals situations, and demonstrates the character of God. True wealth is measured not by accumulation, but by the impact it creates. God is teaching you this as He rewrites your record. You are entering a time when your history of lack will no longer define you. Your story of struggle will no longer limit you. God is turning what seemed impossible into evidence of His provision. Opportunities will multiply, resources will expand, and doors that were sealed will swing open. You will look back at the days of waiting, the nights of worry, the seasons of limitation, and you will see them as the very soil in which your abundance was planted. God's rewriting has purpose, timing, and perfection. Nothing is wasted in His hands. Every moment of struggle is now part of the prelude to your breakthrough. Now, hear me. God is not merely changing your circumstances. He is transforming your very identity. Your financial record is being rewritten because God wants you to walk as a person who carries abundance naturally, as one whose presence brings increase. He is removing every limitation that told you cannot, and replacing it with divine capability that declares, you can because I am with you. The same God who causes rivers to flow in deserts is now releasing provision in your life in ways that the world cannot explain. You will step into situations that once terrified you, and you will step out victorious, not because of skill, strategy, or luck, but because God Himself has rewritten your story and established your authority over lack. There is a spiritual principle I want you to understand. God often rewrites before you even ask. Many wait for a sign, for a solution, for an opening, but God moves in secrecy. He rearranges circumstances, aligns resources, and prepares your breakthrough even while you are asleep. Do not mistake your current state for finality. The seed that seems buried is already germinating under the soil of heaven. The river that seems dry has already been filled in the spiritual realm. Your bank account, your business, your opportunities are already written in abundance. The moment your faith rises to recognize it, the manifestation will follow. Do not rush God's timing, but do not doubt it either. Trust that His rewriting is perfect and unstoppable. Some of you are worried about the size of your blessing. You think God cannot provide this much. Well, this is too great for me to handle. I tell you today, your mind limits what God intends. God does not measure provision by your imagination. He measures it by your faith. The universe is not constrained by human reasoning. When God writes, He writes infinitely. When He blesses abundantly. You are not being prepared for mediocrity. You are being prepared for miracles. You are not being readied for ordinary increase. You are being readied for supernatural overflow. Every small step you take in obedience is building the foundation for wealth that cannot be counted by earthly standards. You must understand that God's rewriting is also about alignment. He is aligning your heart, your purpose, and your decisions with what He has ordained for you. Provision that comes apart from alignment can vanish, but provision that is divinely aligned endures. That is why God often tests your faith with seasons of waiting, scarcity, or challenge. He is not punishing you, He is preparing you. He is ensuring that when abundance flows, it flows through hands that will manage it with wisdom, distribute it with integrity, and honor it with gratitude. God is not only writing a new financial record, He's writing a record of character, wisdom, and spiritual maturity that will sustain that wealth for generations. There are those who try to manipulate circumstances through schemes, shortcuts, or hidden agendas. Do not be tempted by these things. God's rewriting is not about cleverness, it is about faithfulness. Obedience, honesty, perseverance, and vision are the instruments God uses to rewrite your life. The wisdom you need to handle wealth, the strategy to grow it, the timing to receive it, these are gifts from God released only to those who trust Him completely. When you place your confidence in your own understanding, you delay the rewriting. But when you place your confidence in God, every principle of provision flows in your favor. The world cannot give you what God is preparing. The hands of man cannot provide what heaven has decreed. Your breakthrough is spiritual first and financial second. And as your financial record is rewritten, watch for the power of multiplication. God does not only restore what was lost, He multiplies it. What seemed like a small talent or skill, a minor connection, a forgotten idea, God can transform it into a source of great provision. Every act of faith, every seed sown in obedience, every step you took, even when it seemed futile, God multiplies it. You will experience increase in unexpected ways. Relationships that open doors, ideas that attract capital, opportunities that exceed your imagination. This is the nature of divine rewriting. God does not merely compensate. He exceeds expectations. Your financial record will not simply be balanced. It will overflow. Do not fear comparison. Do not envy the success of others. God's rewriting is unique, tailored to you, and timed perfectly. Someone else's breakthrough does not limit yours. The delays you see are not denials. They are divine preparation. Your blessing will come exactly when it should, in the magnitude that God has ordained, and in the manner that will bring glory to His name. Do not settle for less because you are impatient. Do not doubt because you cannot see the full picture. Trust the unseen. Obey the voice that calls you, and let the hand of God write without interference from fear, doubt, or comparison. There are people who think that prayer alone is enough, but let me tell you, God's rewriting is activated by combination of faith and action. Prayer opens the door, but action walks through it. Faith is the key, but diligence is the vehicle. God honors those who move. He does not bless laziness, excuses, or passivity. He blesses obedience, initiative, and persistence. Even when the path seems unclear, even when the balance looks empty, even when the world says stop, God says move forward. Your financial record is being rewritten, but you must walk in the steps that faith creates. Do not wait for the entire road to appear. Take the step God calls you to today. You are entering a time when limitations will no longer have a voice. Depths that whispered doubt will vanish. Opportunities that were invisible will appear. Doors that were shut will open. God is rewriting your record to reflect abundance, authority, and influence. You will no longer live paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth. You will no longer struggle in silence. The records of your life will reflect divine provision, and every account of lack will be transformed into an account of favor. This is not luck. It is the deliberate work of God. This is not coincidence. It is the strategy of heaven. This is your season of a rewrite. And as God rewrite, He will also expand your capacity to receive. Some of you have been limited not by the lack of resources, but by the limits in your own thinking. God is enlarging your mind, increasing your capacity to handle wealth, to manage resources, and to distribute provision. You will think bigger, dream higher, and act with greater courage. You will no longer be intimidated by abundance, because God is training you to steward it. You are not simply entering a season of more, you are entering a season of greater wisdom, greater influence, and greater impact. The rewriting is not just external, it is internal. God is shaping you into the person capable of carrying His provision with integrity and power. Do not be discouraged by setbacks. Do not be silenced by failure. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity for God to rewrite a stronger, more compelling story. Every financial challenge, every delay, every closed door is a setup for a breakthrough that will exceed your imagination. God does not write the stories of defeat. He writes the stories of victory. Your record may have shown losses before, but from this moment forward, it will reflect divine increase. You will witness transformation that will astonish you, your family, and everyone around you. The testimony of your life will become evidence that God alone rewrites destinies and provides abundantly for those who trust Him. So now, lift your eyes and lift your heart, for the time of waiting is over. The same God who has watched over you, who has heard every whispered prayer, who has observed every seed you have sown in hope, is now releasing the fullness of His provision into your life. Your financial record, once marked by struggle, limitation, and delay, has been rewritten by the hand of the Almighty. The pages of lack are torn away, and in their place, God has written abundance, overflow, and divine favor. Do not limit this moment with doubt. Do not shrink back into fear or hesitation. Walk boldly into the reality that God has prepared for you. Speak life over your finances. Act with faith in your ventures. Give with a generous heart, and trust that every step you take is under divine guidance. The doors that were closed will open. The resources that were hidden will be revealed. The opportunities that seem distant will arrive at your feet. What was lost is being restored. What was broken is being rebuilt. What was delayed is arriving in perfect timing. Remember this. Your abundance is not an accident. It is not luck. It is not merely hard work. It is the deliberate divine rewriting of your destiny by the one who holds all power, wisdom, and authority. You are no longer defined by the limits of yesterday. You are no longer bound by the scarcity of the past. You are being elevated into a life of provision, purpose, and blessing that reflect the glory and power of God. Walk in faith, speak with authority, act with confidence, keep with joy, receive with gratitude. And know without a shadow of doubt that God is not just giving you resources, He is giving you the testimony of His power, the witness of His faithfulness, and the proof that He alone is the author of all increase. The financial record of your life has been rewritten, and your season of overflow has arrived. Rejoice, rise, and step into the abundance that God has already prepared for you.